I'm mostly finally caught up on One Piece after many, many years of not catching up on One Piece. Which means I gotta wear this hat and it gained 30 pounds somewhere along the way. Yeah, it started with the anime a long time ago. I want the coat back. Yeah, I started with the anime like 2012. I look very luminous. Maybe put this window away. And it was on Netflix, I think. Or no, Hulu. Hulu had this habit of putting anime on and not having like large chunks of arcs and seasons and whatnot, so I gave up on it when I saw that for some reason. Then I think Netflix had it for a while, but I was kind of burnt out and watching a lot of anime. And it took me a long time to kind of get back into it. I kept every few years going into it and watching it a few episodes at a time and really making it nowhere. I'm like episode 100 in 2022. I mean, part of the problem is like the pacing, especially with the early 2000s, 90s anime, that era. One Piece definitely has very, very slow pacing. They linger on shots a lot. There's like a lot of panning and things. It's still a good show, but I'm a very impatient boy and I have important things to do like this. So I started reading the manga after toying with that idea for like 10 years. But I did it, and then I just kind of got hooked and kept plowing through chapter after chapter, and now I'm mostly caught up. I'm at the point where I almost called him Wano. Fake fan. Although I am terrible about remembering names. But Kaido just got beaten with the long dick of the law. And an island got exploded by some mysterious weapon. So I'm basically about to get to the Egghead Island arc, I think, and yeah, they're already in like turbulent waters and shit leading up to that. I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be some like in-between thing going on, because each arc has that. They have like in-between mini arcs. The fucking Foxy Pirates game one was okay but annoying. The Davy back thing, I hated the name. It almost make you think they might be filler if you're only watching the anime, but it's part of the thing. But yeah, the manga definitely better pacing, obviously, but like the panels are very congested. They're so dense. Every frame has so much. It can be exhausting to read after a while. Like little panels will have a lot going on and they're just a panel at the bottom corner of the page. They just throw so much. And maybe because it's the manga and not the anime, but it feels like a lot happens, but without them doing much. I don't know. A lot happened in Wano, but it was all within like Wano. Things, I don't even know how to explain it or quantify it. A lot of things happened, but it was in like a tight space, I guess. But they are traveling like around the world from place to place, so there's a lot of that to kind of balance it out, I suppose. If that even makes any sense. They need to be flying and shooting lasers and fighting in space. They kind of make you think that's going to happen with the look of Gear 5 with Luffy. A lot of people were upset that that's not what that was. I'm thinking it's because, well, that's why. Because he ended up fighting with like penis music and penis-y cartoon effects, which is interesting and different and cool. But that was kind of an ass pull, because where did that even come from? I mean, they're probably going to explain it later. I don't think they're just going to drop that at the end of Wano and be like, yeah, that happened. Because as far as Wano goes, that's exactly how it went. They mentioned Joy Boy a few times leading up to the fight and that arc. And then it's like, they talk about, I think Nika is his name. It's like a god that was like all about freedom and stuff. Basically Luffy. And then he just kind of gets his ass kicked by Kaido and turns into that. And the Gum Gum Fruit's like true nature is revealed basically in like a page right before it happens. They start talking about its real name. It's like the human fruit, something Zoan type, mythical Zoan type, because he's a god. It's a god fruit. He can do rubber things and stuff, not because it's a rubber fruit, but because it's a Zoan fruit, turning you into a guy that could do rubber things. But then he still blocks lightning and stuff like a rubber man, even in that arc, when Big Mom uses lightning on him. Oh well. But yeah, there is a lot of world building in One Piece. I mean, there's the 4 pirate emperors, and they all have extensive backstories, and they work together as the Rocks Pirates. And then there's Gold Roger, or Goldie, because he hates being called Gold Roger, because he's got D in his name, and they're gonna get into that, I guess. They haven't fully yet. There's like the will of D. And usually pirates with that middle initial fuck shit up. I mean, Trafalgar Law ends up showing his D. And he helps beat Big Mom. That's a big deal. I mean, Gold Roger alone could have his own One Piece series. 0.5 piece. That's... Or Ace. He could have his own story, minus this weird, like, spin-off someone else is doing based on, like, someone else's novel. Just have Oda do it. We don't need Dragon Ball Super filler feeling things going on. But with a lot of these developments, it's good at getting you hooked. Because, I mean, you got Blackbeard running around in the background, and it's like, when are they gonna run into him again? What is he doing? You find out one of the fucking Navy admirals joined him after quitting because of the whole Paramount War being a shit show and him not really agreeing with it, I guess. And not liking who became the new fleet admiral, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you just get shit like that. Or like Sabo getting fucking nuked by some mystery laser thing on an island that they made up just to blow it up because he learned a secret. Because there's a throne at the top of the hierarchy that's never supposed to be filled. It's supposed to symbolize all the nations working together. But somebody came back and sat in it. Some Cthulhu man, demon dude who commands space lasers or something. Or like when Ace gets captured and it makes you want to see what the fuck's gonna happen with all that leading up to the Paramount War. Basically, anytime something happens, something else major happens like right after to make you just want to keep reading. It's never a dull moment. Speaking of not dull moments, if you're not Luffy, your fight gets like interrupted a lot. Well, actually all the fights get fucking interrupted, but especially non-Luffy people. And it feels like their fights are just shorter, which I think Oda is really pressed for time, considering he does like all the major drawing and writes everything himself. He doesn't want anybody else inputting ideas other than like birthdays. Which I just realized there hasn't been an Oda question corner SBS thing in like 100 fucking chapters. I stopped reading them. Maybe he realized that in the past. He realized, Dippy will not be reading these any longer for they are bullshit. Sometimes I'd stop and read one and it'd be really funny, but I wanted to just get to the story, so I kept skipping them. But you learn interesting things, like seeing other mangakas like introduce or put fan art in it and then skip ahead 10 years. Because I read this all at like once, and you see like, hey, I actually started My Hero Academia, or I forget what other one. There's another major one where they submitted fan art to his question corner, and then years later they were like, yep, this is what I do now. I'm in Shōnen Jump too. It's fucking crazy. How did I even get to that point? Anyway, Zoro's fights feel kind of like short. His and Sanji's fights. It almost feels more like Zoro. It happens to him more. But he and like Sanji and them, their fights get interrupted a lot. Dressrosa is crazy because there's a lot of bouncing around between shit going on. I think it happens a bit in Alabasta too. You don't really get to like sit down and read a fight and get situated until like the end when there's like the major moment that finishes the fight. Because there's just a lot of cutting back and forth between multiple fights, and Dressrosa really was fucking crazy for it. I liked Dressrosa, but I hated that. Like Zoro fighting that mountain rock man, like I don't even fucking remember because it just kept getting cut up like the mountain rock man. And like even lesser characters like the Akazaya 9, the Red Scabbards dudes, just characters at that level and below, like their fights will just not even be really shown. You might get like a panel or something of them about to jump into the fight, or like a brief action happening during the fight, but you're not gonna like see them fight. It's just off screen. It happened. Did I mention people don't die all that easily in this series? Because I mean, they get fucking shanked and shot up and stuff, and unless it's like a major pivotal moment, they're not gonna die. Also, how the fuck did Ace die? Because he's a Logia type and he got fired lava fisted. I did not. Maybe Akainu uses hockey, except the admirals seem to hate hockey because they're a bunch of basic bitches relying on their devil fruit powers. You fucks, learn how to fight, scrubs. Except they're already fucking powerful because of their devil fruits, dicks. Also, Luffy will just get the shit kicked out of him for like 3 days at a time and then just like win. like Katakuri, I think, who's like my favorite kind of side villain dude. He's like the second in command of the Big Mom Pirates, pretty much, or third or something. But he's really fucking powerful, and he's like using mochi powers to mimic Luffy's attacks, and he's just beating the shit out of him. And I think it's the first guy Luffy fights with a $1 billion bounty, 1 billion berry bounty. BBB. And he kind of just pulls that out of nowhere. But he does pull up like a new form of fourth gear that allows him to move faster. And he also has to learn how to get around observation hockey and seeing the future. But he really just gets his shit kicked in and kind of just pulls that out. I guess the same kind of happened with Don Krieg too. He kept getting blown up and smacked around, and then he's just like, I win. So he does that. I think that's supposed to be like a defining thing, but it's also kind of annoying because it's like watching John Cena's matches back during the 2010s. You just see him get beat up a lot, and then he's like, 5 moves, I win. Except Luffy's a lot more fun to watch doing it. Not that I hate John Cena that much, but like wrestling kind of sucked back then. Still does. So yeah, I'm all caught up basically. I've got like 60 chapters left. And it's been a fun little romp. It's the most manga chapters I've ever read in a fucking row. At the time, Berserk was the most, when I'd caught up and blasted through all of the original creators' chapters, not realizing there aren't 1,200 chapters. There's only about, not even 400 that he got to do. That's still a lot. But they go by so fast. You can pace yourself. That's the best part. Like, I even started My Hero and everything. I just want to keep going with, like, reading manga. I mean, I miss the animation, and I don't know what fucking colors anybody is until I see, like, the volume things in Shōnen Jump that have, like, major characters on them. But it's fun to be able to pace yourself, and then you can kind of jump in and out and just jump across manga and whatnot. It's only $3 a month. Sponsor me, goddammit! Shōnen Jump. So I can keep reading new chapters and spamming these. But yeah, One Piece Manga is good. I'm gonna jump around in the anime too, just to see what things look like. I don't think I can sit through the whole thing, especially after reading it all. Like, I'm not gonna go back and be like, I need to watch all this. Maybe when Netflix does the redo. One Piece Ball Z Kai. Shut up.